Welcome to the first video presentation of IS 691. We would like to thank you for watching. We are so excited to once again be delivering the first video presentation of the semester. Dr. Gupta, I am still removing those daggers from my heart. I am Kirsten Dalton.
And I'm Robert Stanfield.
We know we've had a few classes and we have read some case studies, articles, and fruition, but in this video presentation we are assuming that you have little to no knowledge of corporate strategy or IT strategy. So, with that being said, here's what we are presenting tonight. I'm going to start with the basics and cover corporate strategy and IT strategy. After that, Robert is going to discuss the importance of aligning the two, and then if and when you find gaps, how to align them. Our goal for this video is that you will have enough knowledge to understand the importance of both corporate strategy and IT strategy, and that in turn will help you both at work and on your group project. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to answer the following questions. What is corporate strategy and what is its importance? What is IT strategy and what is its importance? Why does IT strategy need to be aligned with corporate strategy? And what to do if there are gaps in the corporate IT strategy alignment. Lucius Seneca, a famous philosopher, once said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." You can think the same for a company without a strategy. Corporate strategy can be defined as the unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan that relates the strategic advantage of the firm to the challenges of the environment and is designed to ensure that basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved through the implementation process. The features of corporate strategy include: it is being formulated at the higher level of management, it is related to the long term, it requires systems and norms for its efficient adoption in any department, it provides an overall framework for guiding enterprise thinking and action, it is concerned with a unified direction and efficient allocation of organization resources. Professor Richard Rumlett of UCLA says that a good corporate strategy focuses multiple resources on a single objective or a company's goal. He states where a company goes wrong is they make it complicated, a big, thick plan. If you remember in fruition, at first, the IT strategy was a big, thick plan. This was the wrong way to go about it. So, why do we need a corporate strategy?
Tell me why.
We need a strategy because without one, we fill our time with what we want, what we think the boss wants, or by reacting. So how is a corporate strategy created? Corporate strategy is based on knowing where your organization is today, where you want your organization to be, and how you want to get there. It's not always written down or explicit, but it should determine how you are organized, how you set objectives, define policies, and allocate resources, and how you operate on a day-to-day basis. It is important to know that a corporate strategy needs to be revisited and reevaluated. The risk of not changing and improving can be as significant as the risk which may affect your plans to develop your business. Your competition is almost certainly changing and moving ahead, and you are likely to be left behind in terms of efficiency, reputation, and financial success if you do not learn lessons and appreciate what factors may influence your likely success in delivering your business goals. Questions your corporate strategy should answer. Your business strategy can be defined in either several paragraphs or be written down as a set of strategic statements. It is a summary of how the company will achieve its goals, meet the expectations of its customers, and sustain a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Your business strategy should answer these questions. Why is the company in business? What are we best at doing? Which customers should we continue to serve or start serving? Which products and services should we stop offering, continue to offer, or start offering? Why have we decided on these strategic directions? I thought it would be beneficial to go through a fictional company's corporate strategy. We'll first get an overview of the company and what their goals are, and then we'll see how the company developed these into a corporate strategy. I got this from entrepreneurship.org. Pinnacle Performance Group is a consulting company that provides performance improvement strategies, assessments, and training programs to mid-sized businesses. Pinnacle has successfully worked with a variety of service businesses on an innovative client retention process. Some of the most positive feedback has come from accounting firms and financial planners who have used these services. Like many consulting companies, Pinnacle's current revenues are tied to the number of hours the consultants work, and the majority of its clients are located in a Fort Safe area. The Pinnacle team wants to grow the business. After conducting a SWOT analysis and brainstorming their 3-year vision, they developed the following goals and strategy to accomplish them. Pinnacle currently has the following goals: enhance the value of the Pinnacle Performance Group brand, develop a revenue stream independent of consulting time that will provide 50% of Pinnacle sales revenues within 3 years, increase the asset of the business so that in the next 5 years, Pinnacle could be sold to another company or an individual. So with that being said, Pinnacle Performance Group developed a corporate strategy, which is Pinnacle Performance Group will offer performance improvement strategies, assessments, training programs, and tools to help mid-sized businesses build sustainable futures, increase productivity, and develop staff and customer loyalty. In addition to continuing its regional services, Pinnacle will develop a software program based on Pinnacle's successful client retention process, create turnkey training program that can be used to help potential customers achieve the greatest benefits from client retention software, broaden Pinnacle's distribution activities to market the new client retention software and training program to mid-sized accounting firms and financial planners nationwide, implement a marketing plan to position Pinnacle as the expert in client retention for accountants and financial planners. So now that we've discussed corporate strategy, let's discuss IT strategy. Gartner defines IT strategy as the discipline that defines how IT will be used to help businesses win in their chosen business context. But seriously, what is it?
What is it?
An IT strategy is an iterative process to align IT capabilities with the business strategy and requirements. It should be a documented and improved process, part of the organization's governance framework. It is iterative. It needs to be frequently revisited. Traditionally, IT strategies are updated and communicated on an annual basis. If an emerging technology surfaces that has the potential to enhance the business, it should be investigated and communicated to the business as soon as possible. A one-year cycle may be too late. It is a strong alignment of business and IT capabilities rather than designing IT solutions to support the business requirements. Assuming that both business and IT capabilities drive each other, assuming that the business drives IT and not the other way around. The IT strategy sets future direction for IT function in the organization, ensuring that IT budget is spent on value creation activities for the business, creating shareholder value, helping to maximize the return on IT investments. The IT strategy may include sub-elements such as infrastructure strategy, application strategy, integration strategy, service strategy, sourcing strategy, and innovation strategy. So why do we need it? Like a corporate strategy, every company that has any form of IT should have an IT strategy. Without one, you are setting yourself up for failure. An IT strategy will ensure that the money being spent on IT by the organization is being used to the best effect to further its strategic aims. It will answer questions such as, are we doing the right things with technology to address the organization's most important business priorities and continuously deliver value to the clients? Are we making the right technology investments? Do we measure what is the real value to the organization derived from that technology? Is our current information technology agile enough, flexible to continuously support a successful organization? Is our information technology environment properly managed, maintained, secured, able to support the clients, and is it cost effective? Can our strategy support current and future business needs? So let's now discuss the IT strategy pyramid. This pyramid diagram can be used to illustrate the IT strategy and vision and how the technology and business strategies are totally aligned. At the top of the pyramid is the enterprise overarching vision. A line below that is how IT supports the vision by becoming a premier IT organization and creating a competitive advantage for the clients. The IT vision is in turn supported by three pillars: integration, improvement, and innovation. So now we're going to talk about how to prepare an IS strategic plan. Have you ever thought about what goes into this? David Hare, Chief Technology and Security Officer of the Asbury Group Integrative Technologies, has developed a 7-step plan to develop an effective IT strategy. First, he says we need to review strategic and tactical goals and align with the technology projects and goals. Developing an effective technology strategic plan should first start with a review of the organization's strategic plan. Often after listing out the strategic plans and tactical plans of the organization, the areas where technology could enhance or enable such plans becomes apparent. Many organizations that have reached a state where their IT planning is becoming proactive rather than reactive have used the strategic plans and tactical plans as the litmus test for whether a project should be funded. When reviewing the projects during the budget process, consideration should be given to whether the project contributes to achieving the strategic goals of the organization. Robert is going to talk to us in a few about how to align your IT strategy with your corporate strategy. Next, you're going to interview the executive and operational staff. After reviewing the organization's strategic goals, the next step is to collect information from the executive and operational staff. This information should be collected in a variety of ways so that common themes can be extrapolated, and that the analysis shows trends and directions. Often people will open up more in individual interviews, and others will tend to do better in group settings. Use the following tools to collect data when helping clients create IT strategic plans: questionnaires and surveys, SWOTs, individual interviews, departmental interviews, interviews with the board of directors, and then that data collected during the above process is entered into spreadsheets and sorted for common or consistent themes. Step 3 is to benchmark the current IT organization and IT spending. This is one area where it may be more difficult to internally evaluate your existing IT organization without the assistance of a consulting firm. But here are the important criteria you will want to include in your evaluation. The benchmarking exercise may include the following aspects: IT leadership. Does your company have a CIO or IT director in strategic planning and growth? Is IT leadership proactive or reactive? Next, what is the size and scope of the current IT organization? Rank your internal IT staff and responsibilities in comparison to similar companies to determine if your organization is a leader, follower, or a laggard in providing IT solutions to your company. Lastly, benchmark IT spending against other similar companies to see if your organization invests their IT dollars. The fourth step is software application and systems review. The costs involved in replacing critical applications such as accounting systems are not to be taken lightly. It is crucial to the continued success of the organization to make informed decisions when looking at a potential replacement of systems, and ensure that you have all the business needs identified before you begin bringing in vendors for system demonstrations. The best way to start the process is to identify all of the applications currently in the organization and determine the following. Review each application and determine with the users if the application is meeting their current needs, such as who are the owners of the applications, what are the needs of the current owners. Review the current application and identify where the current application is meeting or not meeting the needs of the department. Determine when the application could be considered for replacement or enhancements. Number 5, review the gaps between the strategic goals and the current operations. This is where the fun begins, and here in a few Robert will be discussing in greater detail. You have reviewed the strategic goals of your organization and identified IT-related goals. You have interviewed the executive and operational staff to get their input into the IT needs of the organization, as well as their current performance of the IT operations team and systems. You have reviewed the existing IT organization, staff, and budget, and have reviewed the current list of applications and determined whether they are meeting the current needs of the organization. And you've also explored some upgrades or replacement options. Armed with this information, the next steps are to identify the gaps between the desired state and the current state of the IT in the organization. Number 6 is to develop the IT short-term and long-term project plan and timeline. With the gaps identified, you can now prioritize projects over a multi-year period and create that elusive long-range technology vision. At a high level, the executive leadership can direct the priorities of the organization, and then these priorities can be assembled into a project timeline. The last step is to give information technology a seat at the table. Now that you've created the technology vision for your organization, the goal needs to continue to update and develop the plan as things change. None of us can anticipate a major downturn in the economy or an opportunity for growth in your organization that becomes available in a few years from now. It does not matter if your community has a small IT staff or a large one, you need to have someone in the organization that represents the IT department included in your strategic planning and operational planning processes. The only way that your technology vision can be kept current with the organization's vision is to include them in the process. So now Robert is going to start explaining how and why to complete step number 1, aligning the IT strategy with the corporate strategy.
Thanks. Thank you, Kirsten, for explaining to us IT strategy and corporate strategy. Now I'll discuss aligning IT strategy and corporate strategy. The reason we need to align business strategies and IT strategies is to optimize the value that IT contributes to the enterprise. The best place to start when outlining a strategic IT roadmap is by examining the business strategy and objectives. Keep in mind during this presentation that a company has successfully aligned IT strategy to business strategy when there is a shared understanding of how IT applications, technologies, and services will contribute and support business objectives right now and in the future. Alignment is not a static concept, but one that needs to be evaluated and analyzed repeatedly and consistently. Business objectives evolve, and so should IT objectives to match those changes. You also will have a shared focus on where to expend scarce resources, the time and money, and the trade-offs the enterprise is willing to make. There will also be a good working relationship between the IT organization and the rest of the business as seen by reliable daily operations, responsive problem management, and predictable, innovative solution delivery. Remember, with this, as we have seen in fruition in other case studies, we are trying to create an environment where IT is not in the basement or a separate supplier, but a contributing part of the business function and accomplisher of a business objectives. I have been surprised at how much research has been performed on the need to align IT strategy with corporate strategy. The fact that aligning these strategies continues to frustrate and confuse executives after decades of research and analysis points us to the real challenge of molding IT to fit the evolving needs of a business's strategy. Businesses are meeting this challenge by translating formal strategic plans into business activities and ways for IT to support the business. We gain an increased sense for whether the center of alignment is consistent with the goals of a firm by evaluating alignment at the process level. An example of this would be if a company is trying to differentiate itself as having superior customer service, it won't achieve that goal if IT resources are focused on the outer areas, starving the most important activities of IT support. The processes where IT alignment is tightest must reflect a firm's most important strategic goals. So in order to come up with a sound strategy to IT alignment with the corporate objectives, one must be familiar with the business and the services it provides. Some other reasons we should align these strategies include, now remember these because I'm going to ask you for examples in class: reducing cost, standardizing processes, enhancing productivity, improving workflows and communications, sustaining repeatable service levels, improve risk control mechanisms, implement new business strategies, facilitate organic and acquisition-driven growth, gain competitive advantages by exploiting new technologies. So think about these so we can discuss them on Thursday. So we see there's great value to be added when aligning these strategies. Now I'll explain the steps that research has shown to make this alignment successful. Consider while I discuss these steps which you find to be more important than others, and any you might think I left out. First, a business should identify and document all their business processes, both formal and informal. There needs to be a crystal clear understanding of the business itself. During this, we need to map out the corporate model so we can determine exactly what the business does and how they do it. At this stage, we need to know roles and responsibilities of employees, the markets we're involved in, the products and services we provide our customers and suppliers, and the key business partners. All this will directly affect the information and services IT provides the business. Next, we must analyze the culture that exists in the organization. This step is often overlooked, as we saw with Jack Carlisle. He pushed his strategy with little regard to culture that existed around him. There needs to be an understanding of the way things are done because the culture has a strong influence on the successful application of technology. Basically, we need to match the nature of our systems with the nature of our business. Next, we need to identify and document all existing IT assets, application and delivery channels. The current IT estate should be formally documented to understand exactly how they are used in the service offerings. In this assessment, we need to know exactly how many assets the organization has, their technical attributes, who creates and configures them, their life expectancy, who uses them, who owns them, who supports them, how much they cost, and who pays for them. Next, we need to discover the value chains. All businesses have various value chains, each of which combine a number of inputs, converts them to add value, and then produces an output. Understanding these value chains is extremely important when preparing to align IT function with business strategy because they generally represent the relationships and the touch points between business functions and the IT estate. Consider a customer order process and all the places technology plays a role in the business process. Each link in the value chain may depend on the execution of several software and hardware interactions. By analyzing this, we can identify the key factors critical to effective strategic planning and alignment. Next, there needs to be a clear vision of where you want to go and how you're going to get there. In doing this, we must understand the future context in which our organization will operate by knowing what pressures will shape and influence our business. These pressures may be internal or external, but our strategies should incorporate some sort of preparedness for change. If the IT and business strategy is not perfectly aligned, and there's always room for improvement, there is obviously change that will need to take place. It is recommended to create a change agenda. Clear communication is important while executing this agenda so the IT departments and other business units are on the same page when a change in direction is made. IT should have regular technology briefings for the other business units, outlining the technology context and pressures for change, while the rest of the business can do their part by giving regular business briefings to the IT department. This will allow everyone on both sides to fully understand the implications of the change agenda. This is also an important step in bridging the strategic gap between business and IT, which I will discuss more in a moment. The change agenda outlines the nature of the changes, and the technology roadmap describes in detail how the relevant technology changes will be implemented. We use a technology roadmap because oftentimes the system-centric view of the organization is different from the business-centric view. We want to know where technology touches these changes. There is a lot of research done on technology road mapping because it is a flexible technique widely used to support strategic and long-range planning. This approach provides a structured means for exploring and communicating the relationships between evolving and developing markets, products, and technologies over time. Roadmaps allow technology developments to be integrated with business planning. Obviously, understanding these different views will help in bridging the gap in strategies, and I will discuss this a little bit more in a moment. The core of successful alignment between business and IT strategy is based on effective understanding, communication, and collaboration throughout the value chain. It is important to create and use objective metrics to prove your models and to clarify your decision-making and planning. Going through these steps will help an organization discover gaps in the alignment of the IT and business strategies. Doing these steps and iterations will facilitate an ability to discover gaps as the business progresses. Innovation is recognized as a key to bridging this gap. Many businesses are looking to IT to tell them what is possible. Think of online shopping or mobile banking. At one point, this was an innovative approach, and it took recognizing a gap as an opportunity to expand and grow business. IT has a responsibility to explore new avenues for business growth through innovation. If they are not involved in what the business is doing, this gap will remain. Another reason a gap exists is that IT is often left without a seat at the executive table despite increasing presence of technology in the business. This allows companies to continue making the same mistake. IT is asked to improve the data quality, but the people in the business are unwilling or uneducated on what is needed from them to improve such processes. There is often a lack of communication when changes in processes are made. For example, business silos complain that systems don't talk when the root cause is that siloed departments don't like working together. We often try to make IT fix business problems instead of IT working with the business to fix problems at the foundation. Organizations develop trust when they know what to expect from each other. The Harvard Business Review believes that this can be accomplished by finding common ground on medium-term issues. They propose business and IT work in that direction by bridging a few tough technological trade-offs front and center, with the goal of finding some middle ground. These may include the COO's demand for high systems reliability versus the product manager's desire to bring new capabilities online quickly. The CFO's desire that systems standardize processes to keep costs low versus the CMO's demands that these same systems be flexible enough to promote innovation, or the apparent attractiveness of the cloud to CEO versus the legal counsel concerns about data protection. To find that middle ground, both should describe the trade-offs from their perspectives. Basically, this is opening up a line of honest, productive communications, like I mentioned with the change agenda. A new California study was conducted called Why IT Needs to Lead Now, the Innovation Imperative, and out of 800 global businesses and IT executives, 34% of the business respondents characterized their relationship with IT as combative, distrustful, or siloed, and 31% of the IT side agreed with this. Many business leaders still see IT as a necessary evil and not a strategic partner. This is often from a lack of trust and communication. Another way to bridge the gap is ask, how do we expect IT to help us compete? Or how can IT give us a competitive advantage? The IT investment is less in any particular technology, but more in building organizational capabilities. This helps build true business partnership in the areas that need it most. If the steps taken to align IT strategy with the business strategy are carefully and exhaustively analyzed, then many of the gaps that exist will be found. It will then be all about how deliberate the organization is with communication and execution of the strategy if it is to be successful. I've said it several times in this, but it is important to consider again. This process must happen regularly. We cannot grow complacent, or the business strategy and IT strategy will no longer be aligned, and the right hand won't know what the left hand is doing anymore. Thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. I hope we didn't set the bar too high. We hope you now understand the importance of both corporate strategy and IT strategy and aligning the two, and that will in turn help you both at work and on your group project. Remember the questions we said before, and please come prepared to discuss the following. What is corporate strategy and what is its importance? What is IT strategy and what is its importance? How does IT strategy need to be aligned with corporate strategy? And what to do if there are gaps in the corporate IT strategy? Thank
you for listening. I'm going to throw the computer. Okay. Is that doing that the whole time?
No.
Okay. So why do we need a corporate strategy?
Tell me why.
Did you get into it?
Yeah, I think I did.
Should I put that one in there? I think so.